it's still the same as the new one. You're really not that out. And there's so much aftermarket available for it because it's been going for so long. And there will continue to be because there's so many of those things out there.
So do I.
Love that sound!
Back in the 90s, we lived all that shit.
Oh, it was incredible. It was one of the coolest things I've ever done in my life on a dirt bike, for sure.
Here we slapped some new tires on it, changed the oil, put a filter in it. He went down there with a bunch of air filters, and I don't think he touched the bike at all. I think. Okay, welcome everybody. Tech Talk Taco Tuesday, live from Prum, the Valley of the Dirt People. It's episode number 281. That's probably 220 too many, but it is what it is. Tech Talk Taco Tuesday is the podcast show video vlog thing that we do. Dirt Bike Test brings to you every week, where we answer your motorcycle and motorcycle product related questions. My name is Jimmy Lewis. I'm the host of this show, or the person that pushes the buttons, or the guy that can answer 9 out of 10 technical questions without referring to a reference manual, as long as it's related to dirt bikes. Welcome, everybody. It's good to have a lot of you back. I had to take a week off because I was down in Mexico being a race director, I guess, or a herder of cats, or a rule enforcer, or a guy who gets really pissed off when the trucks think they have enough money to not care about motorcycles, or the truck people, or someone. But we had an awesome time. I was super stoked with how the course turned out. I think a lot of the riders were, and it was painful for me just being there, because I had a perfectly prepped bike, which I actually wasn't even going to take a bike, but last minute I got a driver to drive with me. So that meant I could have unloaded my bike and rode some of the course. And bike, I prepped it up, and it was brand new tires and everything, which is kind of rare. I don't always do that unless I'm racing. And I wasn't racing. I just wanted to go ride. But every day some little thing kind of came up that said, it'd be better to be responsible than to be on my motorcycle. So I kept it in the truck, which this is the longest I haven't ridden since being injured in a while. So I'm a little bit aggravated by that, but it's good to be back. Good to talk to you all guys. Hey, I want to while we're here, it's funny. Usually, right here, people in the chat are kind of chiming in, saying hi, telling us where they're from and stuff. And one of our top fans, a really good buddy, Mark Daniels, better known as Big Tickets, sometimes to his close friends. Top fan of the show, a guy who always contributed in a great way. I found out last week that he had passed away. This show, this show right now, I'm going to say, man, Godspeed, Mark. We're going to miss you because, like I said, a lot of times we kind of throw it out. Hey, the chat, can you search this? Can you check this out? He would always come back with the right information, which was super helpful. And he was always having a little bit of tequila with us. And if you know this show, we like to have a little bit of tequila. So I brought back from Baja. This is actually for my bartender Janie. I'll show it on the emergency cam here right now. This is it's a Lotte Maestro double reposado. So I'm gonna. It's got a kind of a leaky cap. So, but I got this down there, and I wanted to show it off because Mark always appreciated when we had interesting or new or unique bottles. I've never had a double reposado before, but Janie and I today shared a little slug for Mark, and I'm going to do the same on this show. And I'm hoping that in the near future that we can maybe go back to Rottweiler Performance and do a show there. So if we can, we'll save the real celebration. I'd like to get some of his buddies on here, and maybe they can say a few words so we can all learn a little bit more about Mark and what made him so special. And it's always sad to kind of have to, it's like a clubhouse here. This podcast, this show, and so anyways, that's here's to Mark. I'll give a little moment of silence as I sip this guy. Okay. Anyways, Chris Rial's in the chat. So if you have oil questions, we can have a real expert talk about that. Ashley, one of our other fans. Hey, Jimmy, I'm in the hospital for a 3rd-degree burn since I got in a head-on with a buddy on his bike, and the exhaust to my bike gave me a 3rd-degree burn. He says, sorry for my grammar. I am on the oxy drugs. Well, well, do we want to know where you got your 3rd-degree burn? And wow. You must have been stuck under it, and hopefully it's not bad. Ashley, heal up, bud. Those things, dude, burns suck. I remember the head pipe on my XR80 got me in the leg, and I'm pretty sure I was riding without the right gear, but maybe in shorts. I don't remember. But I think I fell over in a turn, and it just landed on my leg, and I couldn't get the bike off, and it went. It was 3rd degree, by the way, is when it's charcoaly, which is not good. So, heal up quick, bud. Okay, so on tonight's show, well, I'm hoping to get you a special guest. I'm hoping to get you 2 special guests. I've kind of reached out, but knowing me, all the show prep that I did, I forgot to reach out to the people I'd like to have on the show, and so I told them as I was starting the show, hey, are you free in the next 2 hours so I can bring you on the show? Because that's I was doing other things today too. There's a lot of stuff catching back up. There's a little bit of rally training going on. There was I had to catch up on my Formula One. I didn't know where that was at. And burn is on the left leg, and it was black, and he blacked out. Oh boy. Yeah, well, keep typing on the oxy drugs, because if you guys keep typing in the comments, that builds us some brownie points. And we get to, we can say that we're a better show than we actually are. Another cool thing this is what I got down in Baja. I'm holding up a picture of the 2026 Nora's Baja. This is the Johnny Campbell Signature Edition can. Now, I may crack this open and drink this on the show. I may not, but I also may I have 2 of them. And evidently, I have a signed one of these. I can get these signed later. But I have a signed one of these that I drank at the event, and I handed it to Faye Campbell. No, I handed it to John. I don't remember who I handed it to. Not because I had the beer, but I handed it to one of them. I said, hey, can you bring this back because I didn't know if I was going to be able to get any of these. And I got some, and I brought them back. So pretty cool kind of collector's item thing, I'm sure. If you're a Johnny Campbell fan, this would be a pretty cool thing. We'll figure out a way to maybe get one of these to somebody who really deserves it. Maybe if you can think of a contest that we could do in the chat, or maybe something that actually lasts longer, so that people that are listening on the pods later on as they're driving, it's something that we can make it kind of go on, because that Achirby stand, like the response for that was crazy. That was on our last show. We had a really good discount code. I know some people used it because I got some pictures back. And then it almost ran out before I had the chance. I held some back, is what I did. I held some back to make sure some of the people that listened to it in the recorded form later on were able to get some of those. And I'm going to ask my buddy Brian if we can get a few more to kind of fill the gap, because there's definitely a few people that I didn't get back to and didn't respond. But hey, I was in Mexico, so. Yeah, and Ashley is bummed out since his 3 buddies were going to do the Nevada BDR and the Barstow to Vegas route. Yeah, that should be that would be really fun. But you'll heal up. There's time to do that. Although it was 103 degrees here today, and if I want to wind up the excusatron, like I usually do on why I don't do something. I could have rode today very easily, could have rode today, but the motivation just was not there because I'm not used to the heat just yet. So anyhow, next things on the agenda tonight we have brought to you by Taco Moto. That's tacomoto.co. We do have some submissions for Roost or Endo, so stick around for that. And you guys that sent them in about 10 minutes before this show started, you guys, you're going to wait till next week, because I was actually trying to get a guest on the show as opposed to trying to load your Rooster Endos into the thing. So we'll just pass those on to next week. Thanks for submitting. And now I'll watch the two guys that did that. It'll go from 14 million down to 12 million, 12 million views. So, and Degbit, I can't pronounce it, says, thanks for the discount code. The stand is awesome. I know the stand is awesome. I wouldn't have said the stand is good, and I wouldn't have gone to the effort to try to prove it to you if I didn't think so. So my WR450 is on my stand, and today I had to move it out of the way from the Husaberg because I did a little repair work on one of my vintage Bergs, and it's so nice to not have to take it off the stand and move it and then put it back on the stand. I just rolled it right over in the corner and out of the way, so I got more extra room. So awesome. This show is brought to you by Yamaha. Yamaha makes lots of cool bikes. They have the Tenere, the T7, and that's the bike I was going to also go ride today. And I just didn't have enough time to go do anything that would have been of substance. And I didn't just want to go out for a little. I wanted to maybe go and have some breeze blow through my hair that I don't have. But the Tenere is the adventure bike everybody should be riding, I think. I liked it. That's why I joined the Blue Crew. It was the Tenere that got me to switch. I mean, I knew the motocross and all the stuff. I mean, I own a YZ125. But yeah. Go get your Tenere today. I can't wait for that adventure one to come out. I'll probably be buying another one of those real soon. So thanks to and so I have a lot of sponsorship proposals that are either out or on the table. Like people want to jump in, and I need to get my program together. But literally, I sent them all out, and then I left for Mexico, and then I came back, and now I got to sort out that mess. But I have nothing else to do because I'm finished with that project, and I have one more little project that's way out in the future. But other than that, I can focus on some stuff now, like maybe making this show a little bit better, but that would be a big ask. And other things I have on the show, but there's companies that have been with us forever. Bulletproof Designs, Fast Company, Scott Goggles, of course, DDC Sprockets. Go to ddcracing.net to get your chain wheels. I know they're a little low on stock, but maybe you need a 51 instead of a 50, and they have them in stock. So love those things. I've never worn one out, which is crazy. And they keep my chains lasting a long time. So DDC Sprockets. And if you have any questions about anything, whether it's something I'm talking about now, something you need an answer to later, if you send me an email, jimmy@dirtbiketest.com, I take those emails and I throw them into my little sheet here and I answer them for the show. And we could probably put the from the mailbag section of this show sponsored by your company for just millions, just a few million USD. I could definitely throw you in the mix and make sure that you are well represented on the show. And I will only say good things about your product. Actually, I'll only work with you if you make good things or have good stuff. And something just went bing. That something made a bad sound. That thing's still working, right? Oh. Yeah, that one wants to blow up there. Maybe I'll do it during the break. And tonight I loaded up some stuff. I'm probably not going to be reading from Written in Scars tonight. I could, but get Jerry's book on, because Jerry has something else that's going that's kind of crazy. They have been working on the Moto World 2 documentaries, which if you're not familiar, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to play a video here. and let you guys kind of see what Jerry and his cast of characters have been up to lately. I was trying to get him on the show possibly tonight too, but his fee for going on podcasts just went through the roof. So I'm probably going to have to do a GoFundMe to make this happen. But here we go. I'm going to go ahead and run.
You might not remember me,
I'll try to
but I
adjust
used
the
to be
volume
that
too.
crazy guy on ESPN2. You know Motor World 2? Remember?
Welcome back to Motor World 2. Motor World 2! Motor World 2!
Oh, wait, that's right. It was 30 years ago.
Man, this show is hot.
Do you like motocross, supercross, freestyle, hill climbs, road racing, trials, all forms of two-wheeled entertainment? So do I. Back in the 90s, we lived all that shit flying around the world, bringing you out of control moto television.
Jeremy, can you show us that new Superman move?
Some people have never ever seen Motor World 2, so let's bring you up to speed on how the show came to be during the grunge years. You know, by my calculations, it's been like 30 years, so let's dust off the tapes and revisit the insanity. It was the early 1990s and the world was changing fast. The Cold War ended, but then the Gulf War played out live on TV screens across America 24/7. Cable TV was growing up, and with it, a new generation was thrust into a world that suddenly felt wide open. Something else was happening. Something louder. Something faster. Something less polished. Bands like Nirvana, Pearl Jam, the Smashing Pumpkins, and the Red Hot Chili Peppers were changing the sound of a generation. And that energy spilled onto everything, including how stories were told on screen. In 1992, MTV wanted to capture the moment and created a sports show designed to break the rules.
Human mannequin, Dan Cortez, come here.
Quick cuts, handheld cameras, and a host with attitude over perfection.
Mayday, mayday.
The truth be known, I am a stunt driver.
This wasn't traditional television. It was raw, unfiltered. Meanwhile, in October of 1993, something new hit the airwaves, ESPN2. A network built to be different, more experimental. Enter into the story, Seals Communications, and Motor World.
New champions were crowned in all three classes.
First hitting the airwaves in 1984, Motor World was a news desk-style highlight show focused on covering the world of motorcycles. By the 1990s, Atlanta-based Seals Co. was creating a variety of programming for ESPN, including Motor World, and a coverage of the pro supercross and motocross races.
You notice those wildly painted helmets, very popular with the current generation of stars. Where do the paint jobs come from? Some come from the mind and studio of Jerry Bernardo, one of the stranger people we've ever met.
Oh, Dave Despain.
ESPN2 had a need for new shows, and Seals Co. had a brand. They just needed a host. And then they found that host in a helmet painter from Boston, now living in Southern California.
Come and visit me sometime. I love you guys. You're the greatest. Motor World, huh?
And right there, in the intersection of adrenaline and storytelling, Motor World 2 was born.
So I tell my friends I'm going on this killer road trip for work with MW2, and they go, oh man, you get the most bitching job in the world. You get to do the coolest stuff, go everywhere. Little do they know. Little do they know!
It was the same kind of edge that MTV Sports created. This was the stinker race gas in the world of motorcycles. What preceded was 5 years and 137 episodes of motorsports madness. We know there are fans of the show from way back when, but a lot of people have never seen any of these episodes, so we're changing that. And because it's been so long, it made sense to me to hit up some of the old crew and get their perspective on what it was like to work on the show. It's a little trip down memory lane just for you, the loyal MW2 viewers. Yes, I was reading that off a piece of paper. 1993, I moved to California. I lived up in the woods in Wrightwood. It's a small town with a ski resort. I had a little shed and I did custom helmet painting. My friend Joe Columbero, who worked for Suzuki at the time, knew that I painted helmets, and he called Motor World, the television show, and spoke to the boss and owner, Lou Seals. Said, "Hey Lou, there's this kid up in Wrightwood, Jerry Bernardo. He's a really good helmet painter, and he's a bit... So I think that'd be a good feature for you to do."
Motor World 2, where it all began. We started a show called Motor World. It was on the air for almost 20 years.
I'm Larry Myers, and welcome to the premiere edition of Motor World, a series that will showcase the exciting and fascinating world of motorcycle racing.
Went up to Wrightwood, up to a little cabin. Jerry was outside painting, did a whole feature on him.
Get in here. Look at lids. Lids aplenty. Lids abound. Many, many lids. This I painted this week, and I'm going to let you guys take this. Now, don't wreck it. Don't scratch it.
I didn't know what I was doing, so I just was out of control and was talking crazy, 'cause that's how I am, whether you like it or not.
I was the first guy to shoot video of Jerry for Motor World and Motor World 2. It was a helmet painting feature, which he painted a helmet that he then threw over my camera and then wound up in Dave Despain's lap on the set.
Come back. Come and visit me sometime. I love you guys. You're the greatest. Motor World, huh? See ya. Hey, but don't put the lock on there. Hey, there's fumes in here.
I promise you, we paid those people a lot of money. They will never unlock that door.
And it was a cool feature, and they ran it on Motor World, and Dave Despain announced me as one of the craziest people they've ever met. That was the end of it. I didn't think anything was going to materialize. I had moved to Hawaii at the time. They called me up and said, "Hey, do you want to host a crash show at the Pasadena Supercross?" And I'm like, "Yeah." I really didn't know what I was doing, but I knew how to make a scene, so I just rolled with it and did a bunch of really dumb shit. It was pretty funny. I ate a big chunk of dirt, you know. Like, oh, if you crash in the first turn, you're gonna eat dirt just like this. And I picked up this huge clump of dirt, and I literally was like, and I'm chewing on it. You could hear my teeth on the dirt. And still to this day, every now and then, somebody will go, "Hey, I remember you. You're the guy that ate dirt."
Back in the 90s, we were looking for something different.
This was right about when ESPN evolved into a younger demographic. They wanted to start ESPN2, and they needed programming.
MTV Sports that came out with Dan Cortez. It was kind of cool concept or what they were doing, but felt like this is something that we needed to do for motorcycling. We were trying to figure out, just, come up with some different ideas or whatever. But the main thing is we needed a show host, someone that was different from anything on television.
Well, when Lou Seals got the piece and checked it out, he kind of scratched his head and he said, "I think we might have something here."
I said, "That's your host right there."
Lou said, "Hey, let's do Motor World 2 with Jerry Bernardo." And that was basically the beginning of my career in television.
It's better than working. Doggy treat.
As a kid that graduated college in the mid-90s, I was fortunate enough that Lou Seals and Steve Graham gave me a shot to come in and work at a small production company in Fayetteville, Georgia that was producing some really cool cutting-edge stuff. I didn't know what to make of Jerry, and as I came to find out, Doug, his trusty sidekick videographer, they, I'm sure, were annoyed by this 20-year-old there, but they took me in, and I got to watch these guys do some amazing things.
Imagine we're here with like 30 people on a Hollywood film set, but then imagine your mind 30 years ago, it's just me and Jerry Bernardo in the desert.
Steven Spielberg, eat your heart out, kid. We got the camera.
I picked up Bernardo at the airport, LAX. We drove to the Baja 1000, and we didn't know what we were going to do, but there was this creative feva.
Well, for 10 years, I worked after graduation at a real job, and then on the weekends, shot Moto World stuff.
That's what it's like being a Moto World cameraman. You got to get the shot.
They asked me to do something in British Columbia. Met Jerry for the first time, and we sat down on a bed, and we talked for like 3 hours, and just like brothers from another. Hit it off. Big time.
Okay, this is potentially dangerous. And blah, 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 blah.
And from that point on, I started shooting a lot of the Moto World 2s, traveling the world.
Do you know my cameraman's really a male dancer?
No, I didn't. I was wondering that because of the shorts he had on.
In high school, I started working for KGWN in Cheyenne. Took off for college, and in that summer break, I came home and I was watching Moto World on ESPN. At the tail end of the show, a little tagline came up and it said,
Moto World is a production of Seals Communications Corporation in Atlanta, Georgia.
It was a total peanut butter and chocolate moment for me. It was like, hey, I like dirt bikes. I like TV. Like, I could actually do that for a living. MW2 is really what I wanted to edit on. As soon as I got in, I thought Moto World is great, but MW2 is a little bit more my style.
How's it going there, Nugget Bubble?
What?
Especially guys thinking about it.
Hey, if I needed some help, I'd look for the when I come right to you, okay?
So the word on Motor World 2 was no rules. Anything in TV that they say you can't do.
Guys, here I am breaking all the rules because this is Moto World 2. Odd Ekman, see you later.
We did. McGrath stepped into a monster truck at opening ceremony at the AMA Supercross.
Hit fire.
Jerry was doing an interview with his butt patch.
So, Jeremy, how you feel? Can you show us that new Superman move?
Dry crotch, just like really 750 Superbike.
Dry crotch.
Dry crotch.
The freedom to break the rules as a cameraman. We could try anything, shoot anything, do weird stuff.
Ricky P's style was just crazy. I've never seen anybody shoot like that. You could snap in and snap out. And there was a lot of that going on back then.
Move the camera around, never keep a still shot, go in, go out, go left, go right.
There was a lot of bad angles back then, and it just was a constant moving, and it almost makes me ill to this day.
Next up on MW, stop moving that camera! Thank you.
Back then it was cool.
It was quick, fast, fun. That wasn't always perfect.
Nitro burning, fire breathing, tire scorching, 6-second buddy guard. Nitro burning, tire breathing, something, whatever you just said. Yeah!
Bernardo and I always try to do something creative visually.
I made windsocks for the microphone.
All it was like Chucky. So they cut Chucky's head off and they cut some holes on top of the mic, and then they would do interviews. Jeff Gordon from NASCAR was like, he looked at Jerry when he was interviewing him, he goes, is this real?
Scaring me with this. Chucky's coming out, it's Halloween.
Right here, Bride of Chucky at Talladega.
What's that on your microphone? You gotta tell me that first. Oh, I see, okay.
Hey, I like this. This thing reminds me of something I've seen in Africa in the bush. It's kind of cute.
And then I started doing bump shots with them for in to out of breaks. I like building things and making things and creating things. We did a Vegas shoot, and I had a telescope focusing motor that I mounted to an old tripod, and so I had a camera outside Jerry's window as we drove through Las Vegas.
Who else but Doug Frankie, Rev It Up cameraman extraordinaire, would build a little high 8 camera that mounts outside the Honda Passport window?
I knew how to tell a story. I wasn't scared of the camera. When they turned that light on the camera, I turned on with it.
Jerry didn't need a script.
You just give them an outline, tell them, hey, this is kind of what we want to convey, and give them a mic and let them go.
The thing that always struck me on the road with them is they found a way to come at a story from any possible angle that you would least expect.
Jerry goes, give me 5 minutes. He thought about what he was going to say or how he was going to interview somebody, and turned the camera on, and that was it.
One of the things I thought Jerry was so great at is just he could pull information out of anyone.
We just had to take his head and then try to get those ideas out of there and try to put that on to video. We just let him go.
Give us a box of tape and a microphone, and we'll make a show for you.
He's going to mess with you. He's going to throw you off your beat. He's going to try and make you laugh.
Wave with your bad hand. That's your good hand, Dork. Okay, here's the story. Came over to Honda Pits, stepped over, an alarm went off. Shh.
I remember Lyle Lovett. He was a big motorcycle fan. We invited him to go down to Mexico with Jerry.
Mr. Lovett's waiting. Actually, they're not really like the Mr. Lovett type. I told my girlfriend when I come down, it's just going to be a guy named Lyle, a guy named Jerry out ride. How's that sound?
This has been great, huh? You know what I mean?
Lyle's, playing a guitar. Jerry takes it. He breaks it. And just crushes it right in front of Lyle, and Lyle's just looking at him like, what'd you do, you know?
Mark Martin was probably the funniest.
Mark Martin.
Jerry said, I heard you can bench a lot or something like that, and you want to arm wrestle. And Mark.
Okay, so we are watching the Moto World 2 documentary trailer that just was released. I think all the Moto World 2 stuff is going to go up, I think they said Saturday. But yeah, I'll play the rest of it. I broke it in half, so I don't get the big copyright violation, because I know that it's all about copyright on the YouTubes. So I'm working on guests right now. I got guys that are going to go get us millions of viewers and come on the show. So it's gonna be good. But the thing we do the best here, is we have questions. And so I got a question from a guy who sent me a picture of his Triumph shift shaft, and I'm going to go ahead and put it up on the screen right now. I think it'll come in there. And yeah, it's there. Oh boy, it's a small one, but I'm going to go ahead and pull in there. So this is, you're looking at a bent Triumph shift shaft. That's better than looking at me, actually. So I'll put it right over here. There we go. This is Jimmy. This is a shift shaft out of my 2026 Triumph TF450E. I derailed my chain on a rock, and the slack balled up between the countershaft sprocket and the shifter and clearly bent the shaft. Wish I would have taken a picture, but I didn't see the damage until the chain was pulled back into place, and never seen this before in almost 50 years of riding. How about you? Am I just unlucky, or is this the weak spot on the Triumph? Also, I will be upgrading the chain guide. So I probably should go and see. It was Clint that sent this in. So Clint, I should have told him I'm answering his question live right now on the show. I should just do that right now. Answering live, because it is a live show. Live on the show now, because he just sent it like while you were watching that video, and I was trying to arrange guests. But so he'll have to rewind this to get to his segment. But we treat everybody fairly here. This is, I'll bet you that shift shaft is made probably in the same factory that makes most of the shift shafts from many different manufacturers, or it's with the same material. I don't believe that is a weak point on the Triumph. I've seen that on many other bikes for the exact reason that you explained, but I've also seen shifters hit rocks and do this. I have seen rocks fly up and hit the different parts and bend it, but the most common one, like you explained there, was the chain coming off. So upgrading the chain guides and stuff to prevent the chain from coming off is a big help. And in fact, Bulletproof Designs, big sponsor of this show, makes an interesting thing that you wrap around between your spokes and your sprocket so that the chain can't collapse all the way down if and when it does come off. It can't get to that small point so that it can ball up underneath the countershaft and do this kind of damage. So I wouldn't say it's in any way unique to the Triumph. Yeah, it happens. It happens when chains come off. Lots of bad things happen when chains come off. But the question is, how hard was it to get that thing out? Generally, in my experience, when this kind of stuff happens, because you can see where it's sliding on those two bearing surfaces. Generally, when that happens, it's hard to get out. So I would be a little bit concerned about potential damage when that thing came out. When I've seen them bent like that, we cut them off so that when you pull it out, it doesn't do a lot of damage to the whether it's a bearing. I know some ride on bearings inside there, and others are just like, it's just a press fit, or a bushing, we call it a bushing slide between those locations. So yeah, I've had to cut them off before so I can get them out. That one looks almost bent enough to require that, but sometimes when you slide the one side out, it loosens up and you're able to kind of get it to pivot out. So yeah, let me know, Clint, if I've helped with this question, and Yeah, that's what we do here on Tech Talk Taco Tuesday, is answer these kinds of sometimes very simple and sometimes very difficult questions. So the next one, and I was going to go to the Facebooks to point out the next question that I had, but I kind of was searching for it and I couldn't find it. It seems to have disappeared. Maybe the guy who posted it pulled it back down. But what this guy had, he had a picture of looking down. You'd be sitting and it was a KTM or a Husky. I don't remember which one it was. You're looking down, you're looking at the two tops of the fork tubes, and there's a red knob and there's a white knob on the top of the forks. And he asked, what are those for? He said, you know, this is my bike. I'm kind of new to this. Like, what are these two knobs for? And the comments went like, there was 30 some odd comments, and I read them all just to kind of see. I've been doing this lately. It's a social experiment on my patience. But I read all the comments, and people were telling him it'll adjust the air pressure. It's the jetting. They were giving him all kinds of shitty advice. And so this is a guy that joined this group, or went on this Facebook group and wanted to get some good information from people that were allegedly experts. And here's where this thing goes completely haywire and wrong. Everybody looked at this and they're just like, what an idiot, dude. How come you don't even know this stuff? I'm going to make a joke. I went down there and I think it was like 10 or 15 comments in before someone told him, it's like, those are the adjustments for compression and rebound on your fork. You can turn them, but blah, there's settings in the manual. And then a lot of them were just like, dude, read your owner's manual. Why didn't you Google it? Like all this other stuff. And it's like, why don't we be nicer to our new riders who don't know this stuff, so that they feel comfortable coming back and want to go riding with all of you, quote, experts? That's level one. Level two is that if you think we people, humans, are the only one reading this stuff, no, AI is reading it. And the AIs are way more stupid than you and me, but they collect data. And basically they want to know what the next word in the sentence, the large language model stuff wants to know what the next word in the sentence is. And so you idiots just taught AI how to be more idiotic. And in being idiotic, it's going to sound really smart, like smarter than me. It will tell you what the next thing is. And it can recognize photos, and it can say, oh, these words go with this photo. This is the explanation. Oh, 5 guys thought that this means you should read your owner's manual. And so if you read something that you ask AI and it says, well, of course, this is the most accurate information of date, but you should always read your owner's manual. Well, obviously the guy didn't want to read his owner's manual. He just wanted to get a quick hit fix of information, and that's what you're supposed to be there for, you experts. And I see this whether we're talking about why a guy's bike seized while he was riding it down the beach, or whether it's something that's actually quite technical, like, hey, I'm having this rattle in this location on my bike. What caused this? And you just see some of the crap that gets dispelled. I saw it on a and this is, we're talking about something that's factual. Something that has a definite right answer, a correct answer. No opinions, just a correct answer. But we go off into opinion land, and this is where I didn't get upset because I don't care. But I was kind of like, there was a question that was posed that had something to do with what I was doing, involved in, and it asked. There was 480 comments, and yep, I read them all. I have no idea why I did that. Well, because I wanted to learn. I wanted to know what people thought about this subject and saw it. And I'm just going to be vague about it. But so they were asking a specific group of riders about something, and most of the people that commented had never done what was asked, had no information about it, and they came in with an opinion about it. They have no experience, no information, and they come in with an opinion. Their opinion is valid for them, for sure. Never going to take that away. Even when we test ride motorcycles, you can think something that's completely off base, and if that's your opinion, that's what you feel, that's good with you. I can't disqualify your opinion, although I would like to. Well, these people should say, I don't know anything about what I'm talking about, but I think this. That really is the statement that they can own at that point. But then there was a lot of people that had decent experience. And because their specialty isn't debating or explaining things, they just go off on these left field tangents. Everything from, well, if you got a Hollywood actor to endorse it, that would make this better. And or I do this, which is it was an accurate statement. And then they went to explain like why the one thing should be the other thing when they're two completely different things. If you know anything about, and I hate to be so vague, but I just don't like talking about certain things. I don't want to put anybody under the bus. Although I deserve to be thrown under the bus sometimes, because I mentioned in my comment, what did I say? Keyboard warriors. I said keyboard warriors, which is what a lot of people are. And if you're keyboard warrioring, I hope you have a big set of ammunition when you go against anybody that really knows what they're talking about, and I wish more people would point out those idiots. But it goes back to this guy's post. This guy literally wanted some good information. He wanted to know that it was a compression and rebound adjuster, and what do they do? And it wasn't there. So that's why I'm talking about it. The larger picture is on this bike, this guy had these giant bar risers on a bike, which is a common thing that people do because they, somebody that knows how to teach riding school says, stand up on the foot pegs and look, you can't reach the handlebar. Well, generally when the guy's standing up on the foot pegs, he's got his pelvis thrust forward because he's gripping with his knees, because it's another thing they talk about. So don't get me started on, like, why didn't one of you experts look at that thing and go, hey, how about those 4-inch bar risers you have in those things running the quad high bend handlebars? Why wasn't that brought up to help this guy even more if you are an expert? So anyways, shut up. Comment on this show. If you want to comment on this show live when I'm here and I can address your comments. And Doug Derby says 90% of the people commenting online are wrong 100% of the time. I don't want to go there because there are sometimes people that have expertise, and you're scaring us away. You're honestly scaring us away. And this is why I kind of do this podcast, because I can come here and I can control it to a certain extent. And if guys want to get really good information from somebody who uses their name and has a reputation and stands by their reputation, like when I'm wrong, I'm the first guy to go, hey, guess what? I'm wrong. Moto Cheeto, hello, great days at the Nora 1000. Your video's coming up next, buddy. I'm trying to get Colton. Colton's working on his thing. I just broke our secret guest. But trying to get Colton to come on and talk Nora. And Colton was the overall winner at Nora's Baja. Moto Cheeto did a great documentary video. I'm going to play that maybe right after we get rid of Colton when I hang up on him, because he'll probably doesn't want to talk about me all the time. We'll probably end up talking about Rad Brad and fun times at Costa Mesa Speedway is what we might be talking about, because we go off the subject. Victor says the sound is a little low, or am I already bewasted? The sound could be low. I don't know. Let me look at I turned the sound down on the Moto World video because it seemed really loud, but maybe I have to put this back up. Tell me in the chat if the sound just got better in the last thing. And Victor, I'm more beaner than you, bro. Right now, super. I had a great time. Let's see. What about Africans eat dirt cookies all the time? We're talking about the Moto World thing. So yeah, and the Devil's Rumble says there are a lot of trolls, dude, on every Facebook group. I know there's trolls, but can we get rid of them? Can you collectively? And this is the thing, is I know it's not going to happen. because everybody hides behind their little keyboard name and they do their keyboard warrioring stuff, and but they're gonna help make everybody dumber, and then I have to deal with dumb people in real life, and that sucks. It's better now. Thank you. I just had to push a button. I'll fix it all in post. If you're wondering why the podcast sounds so crisp with these awesome sounds, I should probably fix my voice.
You could have to deal with this voice all the time.
But not now. So that's for when I read poetry. Okay, so enough of I guess that was a fucking complaint, right? But anyways, okay. So we got some Nora Rally questions. If I can get Colton to let's see. I know he wanted to know. He wanted to tell everybody he was going on. I'll give him a couple more minutes because I want him to text me back. I think the guy lives in a yurt someplace out in the wilderness. In all honesty, follow him at Champ ADV and Colton Udall on the YouTubes and the Grams and all the stuff. So the question is, Jimmy Cromwell says, how did Nora Rally go? What bikes did the best? And he said, what bikes held up the best at the Nora Rally? Well, I'll tell you what. This goes to my buddy Lee, who is from Canada, who submitted a bike for Roost or Endo tonight, who is going to buy the bike that I sold to my buddy Mike McHale. I'm trying to get Mike on the show also, because Mike was the guy that was changing the tire in the background of the last episode. He finished on a bike that he bought from me that I kind of prepped, and is like, Mike, this is good to go. He went and rode it up around northern Nevada for a few days, brought it back here. We slapped some new tires on it, changed the oil, put a filter in it. He went down there with a bunch of air filters, and I don't think he touched the bike at all. I think they said one time it was a little slow starting. They disconnected the fuel line. I heard that kind of secondhand, but it seems like it always started. And yeah, it's there. So I'm going to do this thing called Call Me. That's what I just got from old Colton here. We're gonna plug, and I got to plug him into the board, sound board here, like this, like that, so he can hear us. We can hear. Oh shoot, I may have just screwed something up.
Hello,
Colton Udall.
What's up, Jimmy?
Hey, I wanted to plug you into the soundboard so you'd sound all professional. Hopefully your sound is good. The chat will tell me in a minute, but I just realized I haven't put anybody on the soundboard since I got my new phone, and my new phone has a new connection on it.
Nice.
This is how we run this program called Tech Talk Taco Tuesday. Colton Udall, winner of the 2026 Nora's Baja. Congratulations and welcome to the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. I just actually cleaned my race bike, and it's looking beautiful.
Yeah.
I treated it nicely.
Well, tell everybody a little bit about I'll tell them. So it's a Mickey Mouse race bike. We talked about that on the somethings. I know because when you were I did an interview with you and we talked about it because you are raffling this bike off.
Yeah. My bike is. I made a mistake of calling it a Mickey Mouse race bike, and really it's an MST rally kit. It's on a 2022 CRF 450 RL. I cut the subframe to make it a 450X pretty much. All the wiring harnesses the same. The rally tower has been welded and re-welded, and it's got quite an interesting design that actually breaks off with all those massive bumps I was hitting out there at the Nora 1000.
Hey, it can't be that Mickey Mouse if it ran strong every day, finished every day, won the event outright overall. Quite convincing because you came back from a 1 hour penalty, which is not easy to do. As quote Mickey Mouse as it was, you made it look like it wasn't because it's not. I mean it's calling a bike like that Mickey Mouse is it's a way we were joking mostly, but those rally kits that go on are crazy to that they fit on and stuff. And when you compare that to like a factory rally bike, you understand it's like they're trying to add this stuff onto this bike, and it's always going to be a little bit of a struggle. But hey, it works. Hey, your competition thought you had a cheater bike.
Well, I did build it. I spent 10 days building it, and that's what I do. So, I made sure it went fast, and it's got a camshaft in it, Vortex ECU, mapped by my good buddy Christian Kibbe, and it's got AHM suspension with a linkage, and that combo works really good on that chassis. I did a lot of testing for them, and I ran Bridgestone tires with nitro mousses, and the thing's just, it worked really well. I got it from a really good friend of mine, Malty Wagner, and he's helped some other rally guys, including Kieran Nairn, who's kind of winning some different stuff. And yeah, super cool of him to let me use his bike. And really the story was I've been tasked to sell it. And I thought, well, nobody's going to want this bike until I prove that it's worthy. And so that's what I did. It's worthy. The thing goes, I think it goes 155 probably.
Kilometers? No, just don't throw the kilometers in the end of it. Just say it goes 155.
Yeah, no. I just posted a video of me going 130 miles an hour actually on my Instagram.
Yeah. Hey, and your guy that did your videos, so his little reels that he was, we were putting them on Nora Moto's official, which was the Nora Instagram account. We were kind of retagging him. You had him on Colton Udall. You had him on Champ ADV and also on his Moto Cheeto page, I think.
Yeah, we were collabing it up, just trying to spread the love and make some cool content. Show what we were doing,
Yep. But the video, like I didn't see it. I kind of went, I hibernate a little bit. I cleaned up Mike McHale's bike, the one that I sold to my buddy from Hawaii. And so I was working on that bike today too. I just ripped the tower off of it and got ready so we could take it back up. But I'm kind of been off the digitals for a little bit. But even LSAO called me up and he's like, "Hey, did you see Colton's video?" And I'm like, "No, I haven't been looking." And he's like, "You should go see it." So I went and checked it out, and I was blown away because you, for me personally, you capture the spirit of what I feel Nora is about. You and guys like Matt Sutherland and Alexander Smith and the guys who were running Alex last year, who won it last year. It's a race, and that's always burning in the back of your head, but you were taking the time to like take it in and enjoy it, and that comes through in that video. Although, man, I wish we were able to have more camera guys and be able to show some of the stuff. Your helmet cam footage helps. I was thinking there was one time when you were on the road out to San Ignacio, and you turned it off right before you had to turn and go HP out around that hill. It broke that long ass road up.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, why didn't they show that part because I wanted to see where you guys went.
Right.
Because
I don't know. I mean, the thing about racing, fast is I was using a DJI camera that actually Multi gave me, and it's hard to hear when I turn it on and when I turn it off. So sometimes I never even know when I'm turning it on or off, or
right.
Just dying. What the hell? So
that's not your job.
Yeah. Well, it's hard to navigate and think about that button and make sure you hear it. But I did what I could, and there might be some more. It's all Moto Cheeto. His name's Marcos. He's the guy that's doing all the editing. He does a great job. It was an honor to have him come along and document the whole thing. It's actually one of the first times I've really done that in depth or in detail at a race, and it was fun, and I'm stoked people get to see.
Yeah, well, I mean, the way he edited it, the fact that he was taking the time to do some of the scenery and just the little pickups he got, that guy, he has a gift, on the way he does stuff, and to turn it around that quick. I mean, there's there's a lot of people that are looking for those kind of services and finish. That kid's going to go pretty far.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying to keep him for my own. I said, we're working together, you know. So
yeah, and he drove your Chase van.
yeah, he drove my Chase van. He told me, I could drive for you, and I said, dude, you're the complete package when it comes to Baja racing. You know, like drive the van and be able to create content's pretty huge.
Yeah, but so what did overall? What did you think of the whole thing?
Yeah, the rally was awesome. I had a good time. I'm hanging over a little bit from it, and that's pretty cool. I was thinking about when I was washing my bike. The last stage was for sure my favorite. I don't know. I haven't been able to ever in my life flat track and really use a road for that amount of time. Smooth road, ripping for 140 Ks, and it was just. Normally I never, like, you can't get tired flat tracking, and I started to actually show some fatigue in there where I was like, wow, like I'm getting a little sick of pitching this thing sideways right now, dude.
Yeah, and that's how you turn that rally bike on a smaller bike. It's so much easier, but that bike with the weight in the back and stuff.
Yeah, it's you gotta. Well, those roads, I mean, they were perfect for throwing it in sideways and playing that game. And so, yeah, I had a blast on that last day, and I had a lot of fun racing with Ilya. He kept me on my toes and just enough pressure to make sure I lost a lot of time when I was riding around in circles like an idiot.
Did you ride around in circles that much?
No, not too much. I didn't. Just a few times.
Yeah, I mean, on the tracker, I never really saw it. You know,
right.
Yeah, on the tracker, it looked like for the most part, you know, there was that one day that you did for sure go a little bit off, but you were 20 minutes, and Ilya and the guy in the Triumph are the only two that didn't lose. Ilya lost 10 of that 20 because I think he stopped and was like, well, why didn't Colton go this way? And he thought about it for a while. In the Triumph, I think it was just dumb luck. He probably went through there right when somebody figured it out and followed them through.
Right.
So, but yeah, that's rally.
Yeah, I've been caught off guard plenty at it, but this rally was fun. I entered into it kind of a lot stressed out as far as like whether or not the bike would work, and I made it happen, and it was a good time, really good time.
And
the competitors of the rally were really awesome. I really enjoyed hanging out with all of the guys. It makes it really like an adventure ride, you know, and that's what I was. But you know, I've learned over many years of racing down in Mexico that you really got to appreciate when you get down there to go racing, and I'm finally soaking it all out. And like you said earlier.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and on the last stage, and I'm just going to help you out here. You lost your Baja Bound Insurance hat.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to get all your sponsors in there, Colton.
Yeah. I was the last stage at the end of the day, we finished on the beautiful beach, and there was no one there, obviously, except to score people. And I was so pumped, but I had no one to celebrate with. And
well, you can't win. You can't win by 20 minutes and expect celebrations.
Yeah. Well, I was, you know, like I said, at some points of the time, I'm thinking, you know, can I race with Ricky Brabeck? You know what I'm saying? Because I'm old, but I used to race him. So like when I would navigate crappy, I'd be like, dude, he just pulled me by 10, 15 minutes. When I would, you know, be navigating properly and sliding roads, I'm like, yeah, I can still do this, you know?
Yep.
I'm 39. I'm hanging on to a dream. You know what I'm saying?
Call up your buddy Kendall.
Yeah.
Call Vol Kendall and have that discussion. So he's gone down there and verified books with me before, and as well as Ricky and Mike Shirley helps me out with all that stuff. So it's I'm glad I have those guys as friends that want to go do that stuff for sure. But were there some days where you could still see, especially I want to say it was like day 3 and 4. We had some of those like narrow roads that nobody really rides, where you could see the burn marks from us going through there.
Yeah, for sure. All near El Crucero.
Yep. Yeah, there was some in El Crucero, and there's some other stuff farther down south. I think it was maybe after. Yeah, I think it was after the marathon stage day. We were on those faint roads where it was kind of, because when we rode through there, the grass was still a little bit alive, but the ones that were kind of twisty, like, because I'm riding behind Ricky at this point, and I'm just seeing the line, and I'm just like, you son of a bitch, I want to turn my bike like that.
Yeah.
So
yeah, there was definitely some times I could see the tracks. A lot of times. And
yeah, we call that in rally terms, we call that traces, but it pisses me off when you know that your back tire's hanging a little bit outside of where his back tire was, and he's got the bike turned while you're still slowing down, and it's just like, oh, this hurts.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I'm still getting those kilometers right, so I messed up plenty of corners anyhow.
Yeah. Right on. So what's next for Colton?
Oh, I've got unfortunate, sad news. My buddy Grant Kaywell, who was going to race with his twin brother, Carter Kaywell, at the Baja 500 on a 650. These boys are building a 650, and they're racing on a 650 in the pro class. My buddy Grant hit a pipe out where he lives out in Arizona and broke his femur. So his brother's been asking me, you want to race the 500 with me? And so I told him, man, if if sponsors wanted to jump on board, then for sure I would look into that. So maybe the Baja 500, but it's all just got to make sense, to tell you the truth.
Right. I'm just gonna say that you're gonna be disappointed in the course.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing. That's what
I ruined it for you.
Yeah. Well, I've got to say, I've ridden some really bitchin' stuff at the Baja Rally, so I for sure will be at the Baja Rally, and I do love that one too.
Yep.
So that's the next one for me, and I think, if I don't race the 500, of course.
Yeah, if I was able to do loops, if I didn't have to get someplace, some of the stuff that we found over the years, and some of the stuff that's still in my kind of database from when we were pre-running back in the the late 90s, especially like there's some places I need to go spend a couple days down south of San Ignacio, that it's really hard to ride around there just because there's so many rocks. But we found some stuff on some of those salt flats that you could tie together. But when you have to get someplace, it's so difficult because you can't really, dick around too much in close quarters. But what about Knobby Night?
Yes, Costa Mesa Speedway Knobby Night is this weekend, and my bike will be on display.
Wait, you're not racing it?
I'll probably do some laps. I got to put together a bike. Maybe I'll race the rally bike.
Okay. Yeah. So if I can make it there, I'll bring a YZ125 and I'll challenge you on that rally bike. What do you say?
You got to talk with Rad Brad about it. It's his choice, but yeah, I think I'm good with it. I'm up for the challenge always.
We could start a half lap behind everybody and just try to make our way through the field.
Dude, the guys go pretty fast.
Oh, I know. I've seen the videos. Well, didn't Trevor win it last year?
I don't know. My brother is pretty unbeatable. He flat tracks his 450 RL around like it's.
Yeah, Matt, and you got Matt Stoutenberg out there with his flat tracker.
Yeah.
These guys.
Sometimes there's heavy hitters. We've even had Villapoto out there with Ryan Surratt battling. It was so sick. But yeah, Knobby Night. This Costa Mesa Speedway. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
Gates open at like 5:45 or 6, and yeah, everyone should come down. It's a conglomerate of motorcycle dudes and other flat track dudes.
Speedway guys. I mean, the stuff that Brad let us do back when I was living down there, and let us beat up on the Metal Militia Light guys on our XR100s at the demo Derby one, and the flat track, he gave us mini bike flat track sometimes. Well, it started out kind of as mini bikes, right? It was because all the Speedway guys would do it too.
Yeah. That's those are fun days. I didn't get to be racing at that time, but yeah, I remember.
Well, you guys were just
the mini bikes.
You guys are just kids. You guys are just kiddos. Yeah. I mean, it was funny because he'd just give us because whatever they'd throw money up there and he'd just give me a wad of cash afterwards. And we would take the whole group and we go over to like we call it 10 million degrees. It was Pizza de Oro right down the street and just buy a bunch of beer and pizzas. And God, it was so much fun. Yeah.
Nice.
Good times.
Relive that.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't get back there too much in these days. I like it out here in the Valley of the Dirt People. Hey, I have a freaking flat track on my property. It's a little bit smaller than Costa Mesa, but it's got pretty damn good dirt, and I got a water buffalo so we can water it. So if you need to practice hone up on some skills, let me know.
Yeah, well, I do too. I've got a flat track also.
Oh, okay. I'm coming by. We'll have nationals between our houses.
That's right. That's right.
Hey, Colton, well, congratulations on a great ride. The video, I'm going to play the video later on in the show because I want people to see that and then tell everybody to go there and kind of watch it and check out your socials. But like the vibe and the feel and everything, and I was stoked. I was a little worried, when you didn't make it to the riders meeting and then you kind of showed up late and all the thing. I'm like, oh, this is going to be rough. Same with the Triumph guy. The Triumph guy, Gilles, was like, I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? I mean, I literally, and once he got rolling, once they worked out all the bugs and all this stuff, and once he got rolling, he was super, super solid. And some of the stuff those guys put out was really cool. And it made Mike Perlman's day too, to see an old Triumph on the start line.
Yeah, that's super cool. They were rolling. He was finishing in like, 5th, 6th at times. And that was cool. He was super stoked.
Yeah.
That's about.
Yeah, it's exactly. That's what it's all about. So, awesome, Colton. Great having you on the show. We will keep in touch, and hopefully we'll see you out at Costa Mesa this weekend.
Yeah, Nami night.
Okay.
Saturday. See you guys.
Okay, cheers, Colton. Thanks for calling in. See you. Bye.
Enjoy the video. See you later.
Okay, everybody. That was Colton Udall, the winner of Nora's Baja this year in the pro division. Super awesome to. I mean, I've known Colton since he was a little kid. Johnny Campbell sent him out here to rally train. When they were kind of like looking for guys, and followed him through his racing, his Baja wins and stuff like that. And then I used to race with his dad, Brad Oxley at mostly at SRA and SRA Grand Prix, and had great times riding with those guys there. It's a pretty interesting thing. So Steve Webb says Colton's Nora video was great. How did Larry Ingwell finish? I think Larry finished 4th, if I'm not mistaken. I'm pretty sure 4th. And Larry got 2nd overall last year. We had to bump him to the pro class at 70 years old because that's the way that Nora works. And so he finished up there in the Scott. So 2nd was, I'm not going to be Ellie. He was from Russia. We had a Russian guy come all the way over here, teamed up with. I can tell you what his name is right now. It's Ellie. Shigalov. It's on my shirt. It's on my Baja Bound Moto shirt that I'm wearing tonight. That Tim Morton gave me. Tim does a great support program for Nora competitors. I mean, I think they have the facts, but I think like out of all the finishers, there's a big, huge chunk that are all Baja Bound clients that came and did that. And so if you're looking to race in Baja, check out Baja Bound Moto to see what those guys are doing. Let's see. Gary Drummond says keyboard warriors are usually the squids that can't ride and don't maintain their bikes. Well, of course, because they're busy pounding the keys. And Flying Brian says he loves me the way I am. And then Champion Adventures, nice. So that was Colton Udall on the show. I have a question here that comes in. This could be sponsored by your huge company with a big checkbook. It says in this mailbag question brought to you by your big checkbook with lots of USD dollars. Hi, Jimmy. This might be a question for your Tuesday Tech Talk show. You got the order wrong, but I'll keep going. I have a 2024 Yamaha YZ250X with an FMF turbine core 2 spark arrestor. The motor is all stock aside from that. I saw your past article testing different combinations of FMF pipes and silencers on these bikes. I also saw that Cody Webb preferred running a fatty on his 250X, even though FMF doesn't offer or recommend that version for the X model. They only have a gnarly available. I'd like to try an FMF pipe, but I don't really want to give up the all-around power delivery of the stock pipe by going with the low-end focused gnarly and sacrificing on top. Do you think it would be a mistake to try a fatty on my bike? Not sure why FMF doesn't offer it as an option. Would love to hear your thoughts. Lane. Well, Lane, you're going to hear my thoughts because when we used to do this kind of stuff with product testing, I would like to get a whole bunch of different stuff and then just kind of cycle it through and do a series of different things. Some are really, we'll call them as scientific as you can be, kind of like roll-ons in different gears and to really feel the full pull of the power. So it's I call the ass on the seat dyno pulls. And then we ride them and try to ride them in different kind of traction conditions to see how they perform. So you can get a feel for what that power difference is. Expansion chambers on two strokes do make a difference. And there is a difference between an FMF gnarly and an FMF fatty, for instance. There used to be just the FMF pipe, and then they kind of separate them. So the fatty, believe it or not, is according to FMF, it's a more top-end focused, more motocross focused pipe. The gnarly, for a while, and I don't know if it's still the case, they were making it out of higher gauge steel, slightly thicker steel, and it was focused on a slightly more low end power delivery. And I'd have to go back and see what I said, and because I don't remember off the top of my head, because like I hit my head and then I can't exactly recall this stuff. But I remember thinking that the gnarly had better top end than the fatty. And I was a lot of times desert racing, so I actually ran the gnarly because it had better, it had a less of a sign off up on the top end and just better over rev. And for what I was doing most of the time, that was more important. And in being more low end focus, I remember I kind of didn't like the fact that it had a little bit of a hit, and it was bike dependent as well. So I was running the fatty on my quote trail riding stuff. I would do more, trail riding single track stuff with, because it had a smoother, better torque feel for me than the gnarly did. So the pipe, I should be running the gnarly at one thing and the fatty at the other, and I was doing the opposite, which it sounds like what Cody Webb might be doing. The X and the standard YZ250 would take the exact same pipe. Really the only difference inside that motor is the ramp of the power valve, which I actually like the ramp of the X even for motocross, believe it or not. But again, it comes down to just it being smooth and kind of allowing me to get away with more on the it gives me a better, I get more use of the gears, if it would be the best way to put it. I can ride it a gear high and also in the right gear and get away with it, where sometimes on the stock, on the standard YZ, the right gear is a little bit too much for me, and I always have to ride it a gear high. We're talking about the two-stroke, by the way. This is a Yamaha YZ250. Of course, this show is brought to you by Yamaha, and there's no way that you would ever get better than the stock power. Just kidding. It's preference. The stock is pretty amazing, and its stock is pretty gnarly on that thing. It has a pretty good hit in the snap, and that's one of the reasons. And with most of my FMF pipes, I was always able to get, and they don't sell these, but longer mufflers. So I didn't want the spark arrestor, although the spark arrestor helped on the desert setups. But on the like a trail riding one, I would like to have a longer muffler without a spark arrestor. And I know on my KTMs, I had some mufflers that may or may not have been built special for Graham Jarvis that are longer and not spark arrestors, and maybe a little bit smaller diameter inside, which are amazing. But you would ride it and you would say, your bike feels slow. So I'm picky. I've been doing it for a while. I know what I like. You know what else we got to talk about? I know we have to talk about this. we have to talk about how a 10-year-old motorcycle just won the Supercross championship in a very emotional Supercross finale. Man, that win was a tearjerker. That was a fairy tale ending. I could not be more stoked for Ken Roxon. I know how much work that guy has put in. In fact, when he was a young kid and he came over here, I skateboarded with him at the Fox. They did an introduction of gear, and they had him there, and he was just a little kid coming over from Europe, and he wanted to goof off and skate the little half pipe they had at the Fox facility, and so did I. So his dad got mad at him and me, and I've been out surfing with the kid. He was out at the river jetties in Newport once, and the 2 days before the Hangtown National that he won, by the way. So I just like that guy. I just like that guy. So I was super stoked, but I think the internet's kind of did it. I don't know if it's still going, but everybody's talking about like, how can an old bike like that win? And all the stuff, and it just goes to show, and what those guys, you would not want to ride any of those guys' bikes, and a Supercross bike is completely different than whatever motorcycle you're buying off the showroom floor. And it just goes to show that they're just, when they're making these changes every couple of years, they're going for the latest trends, and they're really pushing to try to get stuff to work better, but does it? And is it better than stuff we had, 5 or 10 years ago? And it's going to bring up the discussion. That's for sure. But that's what I mean. And I thought his bike worked really good. And there's an interesting story about how he needed more power, and they were able to give him more power, because these guys in the 450s don't need more power. They need rideability. They need control. They need to have the power delivered exactly when they want it, where they want it, how they want it. And with a good engine tuner, you can get that stuff. So that's why I always blame the rider, because they're all a bunch of head cases when they think somebody has something better. So, So when you need something better, do some testing and tuning on your own, or learn how to do it. Or you can call Taco Moto. That's tacomoto.co, and they will sell you whatever you need to test, tune, make your bike better. And they bring you a segment that we call Roost or Endo. That's brought to you by Taco Moto. That's tacomoto.co. So I'm going to go right into Roost or Endo right now. And this is the group of guys that said they would roll me if I didn't pick their buddy's bike, just so you know. And one other thing, Trent sent a picture of his bike. This is not Roost or Endo, but check it out. He has his bike on the Achirby stand that we talked about, the rolling stand. So thank you, Trent, for sending that in. I think this bike might have won a Roost or Endo. I don't know, because he didn't submit it for Roost or Endo, but we could take a lap around his garage if we wanted. But all I'm seeing is that Achirby stand. Good job on that, Trent. But we're going to go to Lee's bike. This is Lee Graham. This is his 2025, and you're going to have to jump in on the chat and help me out with this, because, you can also affect the outcome of this. 2025 KX250X, very stock, just breaking it in. Achirby's plastics, likely to get broken often. He said, not if it's Achirby's. Achirby's plastic just never, ever breaks, right? Okay. Well, he's up in Canada, too, so it gets cold, and then the plastic will hold everything. Achirby skid plate, those are good. If you like plastic skid plates, they're great. Stadium rear spring for my weight. Just breaking it in and working on my riding skill, I'm still a solid 1.5 out of 10. Hoping to get down your way this year, maybe get a little tune-up. Great day up in Canada, still waiting on leaves and bugs. So, well, it's good that you crawled out of the underground caverns you guys live in, and keep the beady little eyes covered up too, because I don't want you to get any sun damage like we do out here in Nevada. So this looks like a stock bike with, he probably pulled all the nice clean plastics off them to keep them in a bag for better resale value, and then tune it up with this. I want to ride down that trail right now. It's probably a great time to ride because it's still cool, not 103 degrees like it is out here. But I'll tell you what, Lee, he's been down here. He did Nora a couple years ago. I think he did Nora. Yeah, he did Nora. He was going to buy the bike that my buddy Mike bought and go do Nora again or something, or have a training bike down here. But that bike's gone, and now you have this. I know you're a green guy because I think before you had a KX450. But anyways, hand guards fall off, says Gary Drummond. Hand guard. Yeah, the hand. Where's the hand? He's not riding in tight enough trails if he doesn't have hand guards, right? Okay. Someone says Beta, KTM, gas, or Husk. No, that's a Kawasaki, bro. Maybe he's a little bit later on in the show. Not really sure. Lee's bike as a standard bike would Roost, but it's not a Yamaha because Yamaha helps sponsor the show, so we can have a hard time saying anything good about any other brands ever. But if that bike is putting a smile on Lee's face, I don't know if he's in the chat right now because he should tell me. We're not really there. So we have another comment. Gary Drummond says, get power on a Yamaha 2T for a light and fan, and I might be a gas mixer. Okay. No, that's the whole idea, is the Yamaha 2-strokes are simple and easy to maintain. You don't need any electrical things. It's got a carburetor. It's got a kickstart, just like the Supercross winning bike. The Yamaha with the 2-strokes is trending in a direction of simplicity that many people like. So you just keep putting the oil in the oil injection bottle and live life like I do. So I have a YZ125. I mix gas and haul ass. What would be better for a long-time use than a YZ250X? Says Mick JE3. What would be better for a long-time use than YZ250X? I'm trying to think of what that question really means. This is why I struggle, because I actually think about this stuff and I should just move on to the next question. He's gonna. Okay. He says, yeah, just a random question from above. Basically, if you had to buy a new bike and like the 250 size, 2-stroke specific for a long time use with reliability in mind. Well, they haven't changed that bike for a long time. The X is newer, but really it's the same since almost 2005. It's been the same bike. So if it was good back then and it's still good now, it could probably be good for another 10 years. I'm just saying. Blue Crew, Yamaha. But it sort of depends on what you want. You should go buy a brand new one, by the way, at your local Yamaha dealer. Tell them Dirt Bike Test sent you when you're buying the new one, and tell them you wouldn't have bought this bike unless Dirt Bike Test told you to buy it. But if you were to buy a used one, you know. So yeah, this looks like a nice ride. Another nice stock bike from Canada. He already has some of the stock. He's started down the Taco Moto path of putting lots of things on the bike to make it into a championship winning bike, I'm sure. Gary says a good looking KTM 500. Also, he says, I don't mix gas and I don't haul ass because the ladies like it that way. Let's see. And James says, buy the new Kawi 2-stroke. He says, oh yeah, vaporware. Yeah, we forgot about that? Like, what happened, Kawasaki? Like, there was this 2-stroke sound 2 years ago. C. Kiffner 45 says, Endo for the KX, Roost it for the KTM. Okay. We're getting someplace here. All 30 million of you guys chiming in to let us know how to vote. But Barrett Oberly is the owner of this KTM 500. And yeah, looks pretty sweet. Is that a stock tank? Because he didn't say, and that tank almost looks like it sits up just a little bit too much. Oh, would you look at that? Chirby's tank. He says a lot of it's Chirby's parts. So yeah, I just noticed that tank stuck up a little bit, and I'm picky like that. But Yeah, it's all good. Hopefully he's punched out the perf thing on the tail end of the muffler because that builds heat. And I had to answer a question of somebody that blew their bike up riding it down the beach. And I think it might have been directly related to that thing being in there, but I don't know because I think that he would have, the guy has been around for a while. I think he would have taken it out. But anyways, this is Garrett's bike. I'm going with the K. Oh, here we go. James Soho H7 says strictly on pick quality, the K with a question mark, QUEK, and then TM wins. And Robert says the KTM looks like you don't ride it much, or you looks like you don't ride it. Well, Rob, he doesn't ride it into the ground at inopportune times, if you know what I mean. So he's from Canada. They just came out from hibernation. They're just getting him. It was probably a task to push this out into the backyard to get this photo. So I didn't complain about the one that was shot inside of the garage. So good on him for doing that. I'm going to say both these bikes Roost because they look like they just roll off the showroom floor. Any one of us would like to have any one of those bikes, and we would take them and twist the throttle. Because I'm the master of this show, and Barrett's already going down the path. I want to feed his addiction of Taco Moto. And Barrett, you are the winner of Roost or Endo, brought to you by Taco Moto on the show we called Tech Talk Taco Tuesday. Please reach back out to me via email like you did here and remind me that I picked this as the winner, and I will get you set up with the boys down at Taco Moto. But I don't, but Gary's got a question. He says, I don't know about the O2 sensor on the KTM. He says it looks kind of corked up. But we're gonna bring in possibly another guest here in a minute. At least he's got the round wheels, the freaking Canadians. What, do they not have round wheels? Or do they someday have sleds? Yeah. I don't know. Well, good job, guys. Thanks for sending the bikes in. The guys that sent them in at 6:59 tonight, you'll be on next week's show, just so you know. I will get that to you. I have another video that I'm going to go ahead and play to kind of cue up my next thing, but I'm going to go ahead and answer one of the last questions that I had here, because this is what we like to do, answer questions on this show. I have a question, and actually it's an answer. So this is what I love. So there was a guy a couple weeks ago, and he was having a problem with his fuel injector. His fuel injector was just spraying a lot of raw fuel into his bike, but when he hooked it up to the JD jetting, we call it interrupter, the tuner, the JD jetting tuner, it didn't do it. And so he replaced the fuel injector. And in fact, he bought like one off of eBay that was like a really low price one that he ended up putting in. He said it works fine, but he says, "Hi, Jimmy, I'm just following up on my issue. I discovered the stock ECU was internally grounding the injector signal, keeping the injector permanently open. The JD jetting tuner was masking this, allowing the bike to run, but causing intermittent fueling issues. A new stock ECU runs about $700 with tax and needs program. I wasn't sure if mine could be replashed, so I went with a Get Taco Moto ECU instead." Really smart idea. And the bike runs great now. I also picked up, and here's what he talks about, a key and injector on eBay for $20. Well, I'm going to tell you what, it's not a key and injector. It's a knockoff one. Just like there's now knockoff NGK plugs, there's knockoff key and carburetors. There's a lot of knockoff stuff. But anyways, so you got a fuel injector that looks exactly like a key and probably functions exactly like a key and for $20, which worked but seemed a bit richer. That would not surprise me because those things are tuned to a very high level. That's why there's like, they look the same, but they're different. There's different hole patterns and different sprays and all this other stuff. But yeah, in the end, I didn't spend too much apart from the Get ECU, and the stock injector works fine. So his injector wasn't the problem. It was something inside the ECU. I've heard of these strange problems before, so nothing, it is a strange problem, but I've never heard of that one. And I always like it when it gets back to me because I put that in the knowledge bank that somehow I may or may not remember. But that's why I record this show, so I could say, hey, go back and listen to 27 different episodes to find that 3 minutes where I talked about that one problem. Know what I mean? AI will do that for you in the future, but it'll probably have killed me by the time it gets smart enough to use all of my information to make it better. So there we go. Hey, Jimmy. Question for the show. You recently mentioned that you had some details about the backstory of the XR650 development. I'd love to hear more about it. Give us the tea. Oh, that reminds me. I should probably have some tequila. And please, and thank you, Trent Z. Okay, so Trent was the guy that had sent a picture of his stand. Thank you, Trent. You know what? That's a great question, and I'm going to save it for the next time I get Johnny Campbell on the show, because I will get Johnny Campbell on the show at some point or another in the near future. By the way, if you're wondering what we're having tonight, I talked about it earlier. This is a Lotte Maestro double reposado that I just picked up and brought back. It's a 38%. I know it's a 40% alcohol. Not available anymore. It was a limited edition, and I got it. And it's not actually mine. It's my bartender's. I got it for my my good friend Janie. And we're drinking this in tribute to Mark Daniels. So rest in peace, Mark. We'll definitely. I'd like to do if we can do the show maybe down from Rottweiler Performance. They're probably talking about doing a celebration of life for Mark. And if we could, if that happens and I can make it down there, I'd like to do it and maybe get some of his buddies to come on and tell a little story. That'd be really cool because I know a lot of you guys knew him from the chat and stuff. So cheers. Okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and play this next video here. It's a pretty good one. I got to make sure. Hopefully the volume isn't too bad. This is Colton's video.
Last name?
Udall. U-D-A-L-L.
You're dosing.
I got one of these.
Oh, you're a drinking.
I don't know if I like drinking that. Oh, thanks. I like your mustache.
Come on now. Yeah, I'm shooting with time, so I'll catch up with you, buddy. How many times did you build your bike, brother?
You're welcome. Thanks, bro. See you in a big way. Yeah.
And the couple we did your room. 201 at San Nicolas.
Yeah, Baja Mountain.
Knowing where we're staying.
The Nora 1000. I'm number 1000. I couldn't be number 1, and somebody had my number 5. That's the story. Almost done here. We're gonna get our Stella unit. We'll be tracking for the rest of the 6 days. Hey guys. What's your name? Giselle?
Yes.
I-T-S-E-L?
I-T-C-E-L.
Almost. Check it out, check it out. So we got the Spica and the Stella, all of our safety equipment. Nice big computer cheeseburger for me to bite on instead of a bar pad, if you know what I'm saying. So this thing's gonna tell me if I've made any bad mistakes. And this is gonna tell me the way. We're going to go 1,400 miles down the peninsula. It's going to be a good time.
Looks like you guys are in for an epic 6-day journey.
Ricky went down and checked all the road. We're that way.
Like Xavier.
What's up? You finally getting here?
Yeah.
You got your shit together?
Not really.
Good.
You know.
So if you're listening to this on the podcast right now, we're watching Colton Udall wins Nora Baja 1026 video, which you can find on the YouTubes, and it's a pretty good one. It's worth the time to watch.
How'd it goes?
Oh, it was, I just did about 100 miles on the highway, so I'm a little flat, but the day went really good. The bike stayed together, and we're here. We're here in Catavina.
Be careful what you put on the internet, because I get in trouble all the time.
Don't worry.
Kieran Aaron designed this venting system, and it was going into a 450L subframe, so it actually went down and out. And I put a 450X subframe on here, and it was like one of the last things I hadn't done, and I just like quickly vented it this morning at 5 in the morning and put some duct tape on there. My Dawn soap fell over and it just made a giant mess, so I'm using Dawn soap.
And we're gonna see if we can't just shorten these things up. Oh, it doesn't cut very good. It's too risky. Well, thought it would work. It doesn't.
Okay. I know everybody wants to keep watching Colton's video. You're going to have to go watch it over on his page. I have an emergency update from Mike McHale, live from Hawaii. Mike, how you doing?
We are alive and we are back at work.
Okay, so Mike McHale was the guy who was he was the plumber who was changing the tires in the background of the video on our last show. He's actually a lifeguard on the North Shore of Hawaii, believe it or not. And he took his 10-minute break to come on the show, which is super cool. Mike, how was your Nora?
Oh, it was incredible. It was one of the coolest things I've ever done in my life on a dirt bike, for sure. not too many words to describe it. It was just, I actually just miss riding every day. It was awesome.
Yeah. and for your work, you get to sit on a beautiful beach and hang out at the ocean, and you had fun riding your dirt bike sometimes down the beach.
Yeah, absolutely. First time I ever got to ride a dirt bike on the beach like that. It was incredible.
Welcome to Baja.
with no authority chasing you.
Yeah.
It was great.
A little bit different. So your tire mounting that we got to watch, that all worked?
Those tires, that tire made it through the whole race.
Yeah. So tell me, did you ever take the seat or the gas tank off that bike?
I took the seat off just to inspect the battery at one point, but never the gas tank.
Okay, and then did you put the Stella wire on there?
Yes, I did.
Yeah. So
the power. Well, that is why I took the seat off. Correct. Yeah, to put the power wire for the Stella on.
yeah. Rob Bob says hi. He's watching in the chat right now. He said that the KTM I put a picture up of on the show looked like it hadn't been used because it didn't look like it had been crashed.
Was that mine?
No. I didn't put a picture of yours. I actually do have a picture of yours someplace. I was trying to sell it before you bought it. But anyways, because I had pulled the Stella wires off of it today, and I'm like thinking that you or Tim Morton must own stock in a zip tie company.
Oh yeah, that was myself and Rob Bob.
Okay.
We were zip tying everything.
Yeah, that I mean I put a couple zip ties on things, but not like that. So
well, it made it though, right?
It did, and so you changed the oil one time.
Yes, correct. Changed the oil after the first day.
Yeah, and filters the air filter twice?
Once.
Okay, there we go, people. The maintenance you need to do to finish the Nora's Baja 1,400 miles of riding down the peninsula at a pretty good pace, Mike.
Thanks.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. The last day, a fresh tire might have been good, but hey, it was fine. It was great.
it got the job done. Yeah. So
if I was up with Colton or those guys, maybe, but where I was running, that tire was just fine.
yeah, you kind of had a quote about the gears you use in a transmission.
What's that?
Yeah, you're not used to using the ones past two.
Oh no, second, third gear. That's it over here.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that bike had 6 gears, so you told me.
Yeah. And there was places where you could use them down there.
Yes, I guess I was in 6th gear. I kept clicking up, so I was as high as it went.
Yeah. So, well, yeah, Mike, I just wanted to get a report because I know we had some people that were a little nervous about what was going on in the background of the last show.
The beat breaker?
Yeah. Did I ask about that? I probably asked about 5 or 6 times.
You didn't break the beat, did you?
Yeah, so worried. I mean, because that's and you were running Nitro Mooses.
Yes, correct.
Yeah.
Nitro Mooses, yep, they did great.
Yeah, did the whole thing. Yeah, so so if you're thinking about buying a bike from me, I have lots of bikes for sale. You can you know that I'm going to sell you something that's capable of winning the Nora's Baja.
You weren't kidding when you said I got a bike for you that's turnkey ready for this race.
Yeah. No, I generally I don't really bullshit that much. I mean, unless I've had a couple beers, sort of like on this show. But other than that, hey Mike, I want to thanks for taking a few minutes off the lifeguard stand. Don't let anybody drown while you're out there. Sometimes I wish I was there. And
well, come over. We won't let you drown.
It was 103 degrees here today, Mike, and it did not make me want to ride. I'm still on my longest no riding streak since my injuries.
My gosh. Okay. Well, I can't wait to get some of that heat in August. We're going to come back to visit.
Okay. Right on, Mike. Thanks a lot and congratulations.
Hey, thanks for everything, Jimmy. It was one of the best, coolest rides ever. Thanks.
Cool. Okay, see ya. That, everybody, was my good buddy Mike McHale from Hawaii, live from Hawaii. He was the guy in the background of show whatever when I was tearing apart. I don't know. We were in the garage and doing the show from the garage, and he was prepping his bike. And people were worried, and I'm like, hey, it's no problem. You can't screw it up too much. So, we got some of our other NORA people that are in there. Robert Stewart, who also finished NORA. He's done it like 5 times, and really another really good guy. Did it with the assistants. Both Mike and Robert were part of the Baja bound kind of support assistants and stuff. And so that's what we have going. I installed some aftermarket levers on my Tenere, says Fly Square 983. They have a little slop up and down. Should I make some shims or any tips? Well, it's kind of up to you. So if I'm a little worried that these are aftermarket, and if they are well, so the question is, are they as good as the stock ones, or what advantage do they offer? What prompted you to put those levers on? Because I'm really picky about levers, especially the shape and stuff, to the point where I search out, like Bulletproof Designs has these really bitchin' levers, and our ARC had some levers that they're really narrow, they're small. Most people don't like them, but I have small hands, so they work for me. And then every once in a while, because of the pivot points and leverage ratios and stuff like that, I will make a change of a lever. But generally, they do pretty good with stock. But if they slop up and down now, I'm just wondering. You could make some shims and tighten it up, but I don't think you should really have to, because if they're able to slop up and down, especially if it's slopping on the pivot, so it's angling on the pivot, that's not going to be a good feel, because it may want to bind. Shorty and adjustability, they feel great. Okay, so yeah, there was some advantages, and so I would just kind of take a close look at them and see if the shimming is actually what's going to help, shimming it up and down, or is it the bore on where the bolt goes through, so where it's pivoting on, that I've seen, some where they're not that good and stuff. Really good levers. And you want to talk about works bike level stuff, like they'll have bearings in there. And they'll have, where the lever, whether it's how it's grasping a cable or where it's pushing on the hydraulic actuator, they're specifically designed to have just incredible feel, and there's no drag or tension on that. And for someone that really knows and appreciates that, that's kind of a thing. So, as long as they feel great and you're happy with them, that's good. But I don't know how important it is. I mean, I would check to see if they're doing any sort of a binding, because that's probably, no matter how good they feel, if they start binding up, that's putting a filter between you and what your bike is doing. Tech Talk Taco Tuesday, answering 9 out of 10 questions. And sometimes I would like to say that I like to rip off things. So I'd say I have half of my brain tied behind my back, because I heard that a lot when I was a kid. But in reality, you have to have a brain with more than 2 brain cells to tie it any place. So my 2 brain cells are smoking. And so one of our guys says he's seen the pivot bolts wear a smidge. That's probably because they weren't lubed up. Lubing, haven't just putting a light coat of grease. You'd be amazed at what a light coat of grease on the pivot bolts. And, it takes just a couple of minutes to pull those things out and just put a little dab here and a little dab there, and it'll make your bike work, just feel better. The little things. And these are the things that most people, and then they're like, hey, what issues should I get? Like, grease the pivot bolts? What? So, what else do we have on the thing? Oh, I know. There's a question that I saw. It was on senior off-road and adventure riders, and it says over 40. So somebody put me in this club, and Dana has a question, and it says, does anyone have any experience with the 2026 Yamaha YZ450X? Yes, Trevor Hunter at Dirt Bike Test has experience with this bike, and in fact, he liked it the best. Although it evidently didn't win our shootout, which is really disturbing because Yamaha sponsors this show. I have a 23 450F now, and I'm leaning towards this bike. The friends I ride with have KTM 350s and do more type of single tracks and more tight stuff and less motocross riding. I heard the new FXs have improved and are better than the WR for sure. I'm also considering a 250, but I like the 450 power. I'm 66 now, and I ride with friends that are 10 years older and some 30 years older and not going as fast as they used to. Let's see. So you're 66 and some guys you're riding with 96-year-old dudes. Your math doesn't math, bro. And I'm not that good at math. But if you're 96, I can say do not buy a 2026 Yamaha YZ 450 FX because it will rip your arms out of your 96-year-old body. For sure. I know this. So if you have a 23 450F, which sounds like the motocross bike, you already kind of know what you're dealing with. The FX, so the Yamaha line has the F, the FX, and the WR. And the FX is kind of in between the WR and the motocross bike. So it's a motocross bike with a wide ratio transmission, a kickstand, 18-inch rear wheel, and a slightly different tune in the ECU. I don't believe the FX comes with a fan, but I might be mistaken. I know the WR does. WR has all the stuff I just mentioned, and it has a fan, and it has a head and tail light. And it has it comes really corked up, but most people would put a competition ECU on it. So you can get those motors to do anything you want, especially with the stock Power Tuner app. You want to know why no one is buying competition ECUs, or aftermarket ECUs for their Yamahas? Because the stock Yamaha ECU is a tunable factory level ECU with a power app, tuner app that will make it do anything. So power wise, you can get that thing to do anything you want. Your friends with your KTM 350s are a big, big problem because they have a bike that is designed to be a secret weapon of having almost 450 like torque with 450 like power if you're willing to rev it in something that will feel 10 to 15 pounds lighter than, I don't care what 450 you're on. It's just that's what a 350 does. Don't consider a 250, especially if you like 450 power. You will initially say, oh, this is so nice and light and easy to move. And then you're going to go like, where's the power? And unless you love revving the snot out of something, your 250 will not make you happy. So since I don't have experience on the 2026, I can say, because I rode the 25 a bit, and I have experience with the previous ones to that. And yeah, they've made a little bit of changes. This year, I think it's kind of a carryover model. So it's I think they made a few small changes. They're all kind of the same at that level. And if you're coming off the F, the 450 FX is going to be an improvement for anything you do that's off-road. If you start going more and more single track, you know, you're thinking about the WR at that point. You know, it's just a little bit more modifications you have to do. And then how important is having a headlight and how important is having the fan? You have to ask yourself these kind of questions. I'm answering this thing. And it's funny because a kid named JB Black, and not familiar, says, like when I read the post like this and I'm about to chime in and ask Jimmy on TikTok Taco Tuesday, and then I see that you got the jump out of the gate. Nice work. Well, that's what I do here, Jerry. I have a really good clutch setting so I can come off the gate pretty hard if I decide to read the Facebooks and the internets and try to help a few people out. You know, just it's like doing this show. It's kind of like doing penance. And I'm trying to give back for all of the great times that I have had riding a motorcycle, and I want more people to have those great times because it's such a cool thing to be able to go and do. It's rewarded me with good times. And so when that guy asks, what do these clickers do? Be nice to him, give him the right answer, and don't, if you want to make a funny thing, give him the right answer first, tell them exactly what it is. And then after you do that, maybe then go make a joke. I was going to tell you, and then let's all hear the joke and laugh, because it's like, oh yeah, they help the wheels stick to the ground better with magnetic forces and all this other stuff. Don't touch them because it might explode. All this crap. Let's see. At Kiefner 45 has a lot of happy faces. That's good. You guys should put more chats in the chat box before I hang up on the whole show, because I need more US dollar. You can give money on the Facebooks to this podcast if you wanted to, because that's what I'm really here for, is the money. If you're not a big boy, probably only need the 250 is what he's saying. But I think he likes 450 power. Nobody really needs 450 power, but some of us like 450 power. And I'm the first one to say that if bike doesn't have enough power, just turn the throttle a little farther. But some of us do appreciate a bike that you don't have to turn the throttle that far to get some big power. But if you need more, I know where to get it. I know that the best place to do that. So I'm kind of wrapping up. I'm running out of steam here. I've been getting up super early, and I should probably get up super early tomorrow and go riding. I might leave you with the end of the Motor World show, although Jerry Bernardo says he's over my show. He's over it. But you're not over Moto World. It'll bring back your history. If you're my age, you see a lot of stuff that you maybe forgot already. When you had to plug the VCR in and watch moto videos, it was hard to get because most of us couldn't at the time afford cable TV. I think I've got all of the questions off of my sheet. I've done the thing. Barrett, make sure you reach out to me to claim your Roost or Endo, brought to you by Taco Moto. Your award. Thanks to Nora for getting me this Johnny Campbell beer. I was going to drink it. Nobody came up with the idea for the contest to win this. I'll get it signed for you. I may sign it. I'll get it signed. I'll drink it on the show, and I'll mail you the empty can. How's that? If you come up with a contest. So if you are listening to this on the pod, just comment or send it in an email, jimmy@dirtbiketest.com. We can help you out. Again, Bulletproof Designs, DDC, Scott, Fast Company, Flex Handlebars. Dude, I was talking to John over at W Wheels the other day, and I got him hooked on the Flex Handlebars, and he was he was thanking me. He's like, I can't believe that that I didn't, I kind of, he's kind of like, I didn't really believe it, but then I tried them and they're all good. So, yeah, we will see you probably next Tuesday. I think, I'm not sure. Dave Despain. And then, Dave Despain was definitely, he was on the Moto World show. Jerry was the character on the other one. So, right on, guys. With that, I've done my 2 hours of penance. I'm going to go crash out now. And with that, I will see you out in the trails. I'm sitting in my chair right now. I want to see you on the trails. So talk to you soon. See ya. If you liked what you saw in this video, come check us out over at dirtbiketest.com on the webs. We have bike tests, product tests, a lot of fresh dirt, and you can even support us by clicking through our links. Hopefully, we'll see you out in the trail.